Hello you guys, Braxis here, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of space engine exploration. I did want to start off this video by saying, I might be moving to like one suggestion per person, or possibly 1 to 3, because, yeah, these videos are getting quite lengthy, and I'm getting a lot of suggestions. A lot of new people are actually following the channel and stuff, and that is actually making it kind of difficult, so I mean, like, if you guys can, like, you guys who suggest a lot of things per video, can you guys try to possibly pick like your favorite things or something like that, or just hold off and show them, like, or like comment in the next video or something like that. And another thing I wanted to ask was, can you guys try to limit it, like the suggestion comments, to only the space engine exploration videos? Because yeah, I don't want it to be a huge mix up of requests and stuff. It'd be nice to just keep it like slightly neat and organized. You know what I mean? But beyond that, I do have a lot of suggestions today. Well, actually not too many. I want to say around 10. Something like that. And let's go ahead and get started. So, we're starting off with Yuger Arison. Or is it Yuger? I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing names. I've said this many times. But you want me to go to Aldebaran and the Riel Star. So let's go ahead and pay a visit to those. Let's see if they load in the game. Oops. Okay, let's see. It's not letting me paste that in. Let me type it. Okay, yeah, that showed up right there, and it looks like it's possibly a big system. Let's go ahead and pay a visit to it. This does appear to be kind of in our neighborhood, it looks like. Pretty close by, and it looks like it is a multi-star system. So let's go ahead and hit F2, and it looks like we have a red dwarf just hanging out on the outside over here. Relaxing on the outskirts, and we have a big gas giant over here, temperate, next to the star, which has a kind of dim ring system. I didn't even see it in the thumbnail at first, but it's certainly there. And if I zoom in, it looks like we have a kind of a purplish blue and an orange, like kind of orange, maybe rusty orange. It's not a very vibrant orange. It's kind of reddish. And 1986 Tessie was asking how deep you can go into a gas giant. Basically just below the cloud layer. As you can see, this is about as deep as I can go. And if I look into the center there, there's a rendering problem. It almost looks like a black hole, but that's just a rendering problem. But yeah, I can go about this low under the atmosphere. So you can see the cloud layer right above you, and if I speed up a little bit, you can go through the, sometimes multiple cloud layers, but in this case it's only one. So yeah, it's one of those really bumpy, detailed ones. I can't seem to actually fly in between this one, because it's not too bumpy. But it's one of those nice detailed cloud layers, and yeah, really nice. Let's go ahead and on this gas giant, it's called Tari B, it looks like. So we have this orange giant over here, and it does not appear to have any planets orbiting around it, and maybe that gas giant is. Oh, we have something over here though. What's this? Oh, it's a temperate gas giant. Is this the same one? Oh yeah, it's the same one. Okay, so that's orbiting around this big one. And then we have this star orbiting around possibly this big star right here. So the small red dwarf here orbiting around the orange giant. And if I back out, nope, that appears to be that appears to be everything in the system. So, very cool. Let's see if one of these other systems are related. Okay. Doesn't appear to be anything else orbiting around this. So I think this is just the same system. Yeah, I think this is the 2 stars, and here's the planet. And that's the entire system name, so I think that's what this is. What's the next one? Riel Star, or Riel? Nah, that'd be Riel, I believe. Okay, so it looks like another large system, pretty close by. It's over by the Orion Nebula and Barnard's Loop. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And it looks like a blue luminous supergiant. And next to it, it looks like we have some blue main sequence stars, some small blue stars, and they are orbiting rather close to each other. So we have these two orbiting around each other, orbiting around this much bigger one, wherever it might be. There it is. Or, no. There it is. Is this a bigger one, or is this a smaller two? And if I look at the system, it does not appear we have any planets orbiting any of these stars, so very cool little system. Let's go ahead and hit play, and let's see how these orbit around each other. This is the bigger of the two. If I go over here, this is the binary system orbiting around each other. So we got these two orbiting around each other, and then if I turn on orbits, we should see that this one should start orbiting. These two are orbiting around each other much faster than this is actually orbiting around each other. So if I hit fast forward and get this going a lot faster, there we go. You could actually see them spinning around each other. Very cool. Okay, so I got from Quinn Alexander, wants me to visit Gliese 667, so let's go ahead and load that in. And that is not too far out, pretty close. Okay, so we have an interesting system going on here. I'm assuming this is the center point. Yes, that is certainly the center point. And it looks like we have two stars here. Okay, so anything actually orbiting these stars. Let's go ahead and bring up this map, and it does look like we actually have a few planets. We have this one over here, which is a temperate desert. Actually, very interesting looking. It has some dark rings. You can kind of see them against the Milky Way there. You can see them. And we do have a storm because it is in fact tidally locked. We've got some active volcanoes and a bunch of hills, and a very bright aurora effect, which I have went ahead and turned the auroras and all my settings back over to high because the 4K video I had to turn them down because it lagged it down a little bit. But if I fast forward a little bit, you can see these auroras just kind of transitioning and looking pretty. Very cool. So let's see what we have here. Let's try to get a nice view of like all the stars in the system. That one's kind of clipping in and out of render though, so this might not work. So if I land here, we should be able to see. No, I'm only seeing that star. This one's not actually. These two do not want to actually stay in render, so that's kind of unfortunate. But we do have some very colorful gas giants. This one is a nice kind of tealish / baby blue. Very awesome. I don't think, since these are named gas giants, they don't have any moons. And over here at the temperate ice giant, again, that kind of rusty orange, and this one's not very purplish, but more of a kind of normal blue color. And we have a lot of aurora layers, so very cool. And if I slow down a little bit, we do have a very detailed cloud layer. Very awesome. So we do have an Oceania here. Let's go ahead and pay a visit to it. It is all water, but we have a big storm on it. Not quite taking up like an entire hemisphere of the planet, but it's pretty fair size. And it is consisting actually of water, so very awesome. Anyways, let's check out how these stars are orbiting. So we got this star with a huge planetary system, a bunch of planets orbiting around it, and we have the star here. It is a red dwarf, and we have this planet out here sitting at a semi-major axis of 55 astronomical units, so not too far from its parent star, about where Venus sits in our solar system. Anyways, we have a couple stars here, which are orbiting around each other, so if I hit play, we'll be able to see how this system is actually working. Let's go ahead and fast forward here, and I'm actually, wait a minute. This might be two stars, because I'm getting a lot of wobble. No, I guess not. Not sure why it's wobbling so much, but nonetheless, you can see how they're orbiting around each other. These two are kind of just doing a little dance around each other, and then we have this one that is orbiting around the mass of these two. So, very cool. Do these other stars actually have systems? No, it does not appear so. Only this outer one. So, very cool system. Okay, so I have another one from Quinn Alexander, and he mentions that, or I tried to visit something and it didn't load again, and I guess he updated the ID, so let me go ahead and try to pay a visit to it. I did actually punch in the ID yesterday, and it did actually load up, so let me give this a shot. Okay, there we go. So it is a frozen ice world. This is about as far as I got yesterday, so sorry about that. I bumped my microphone, and things are spinning fast, very fast. Let me pause that. Okay. So it looks like we have a terrestrial body here, but it looks like it has many, many moons. So let's get the moon system loaded up, and let's pay a visit to this ice world. So immediately, the ice world, as you can tell, has a bunch of craters all over it. And if we land on the surface, it does not look to actually have a very dense atmosphere. Let's go ahead and turn off orbits so we can see what the sky looks like. So we have our semi-bright ring system here, and kind of a orangish-purple atmosphere, but it's pretty thin. And if I look around, we can see one of our moons, which looks like it is a Selena. Can I confirm that? Yes, it's certainly a Selena. In fact, I assume... Actually, no, most of those are ice worlds. So, looks like we have some actually really decent generation for an ice world. Normally, these things don't actually generate out too well. That's a little bit odd, though. It's using a desert texture. And it's like the desert sand that it's using there. What is this? Okay, that does look like ice sheets, but this looks like the desert sand, so very interesting. And if I zoom out here, you can see like the large surface cracks, or fault lines, or whatever they are. And there is the aurora. It looks like we have 3 layers here. And you can see one of the other Selenas. What is this over here? Is this another one? Oh, it certainly is, but it's another ice world with also the same type of craters and pretty much the same materials, it looks like. So if I look around, this actually looks really cool from the backside because we are actually in a very illuminated, I think, elliptical galaxy. And you can kind of see the, you can see this cool shadow that it's casting. Let me see if I can try to just correct that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the planets just kind of popping in and despawning right now. You can see it just randomly flicker and stuff. It's happening with the stars too. It's like a recent problem that's just like come about, but very weird. And if I go ahead and just increase the planet magnitude, let's go ahead and turn on overbright. Turn down the stars so we can get those out of the background a little bit and turn up the planets. We should be able to watch these planets just kind of, or these moons kind of dance around the planet here. You see they fade to a black, that is because we're being caught in the shadow of the planet itself. And as you can tell, it has a lot of moons that are just slowly going around it. Including this. I think this might be a moon. Yeah, it's a little asteroid. Very cool little planet. It has a lot of moons for a terrestrial world. In fact, even this over here is actually orbiting around it, which is another frozen asteroid. Very awesome. And the stars that we have over here are a lovely couple, it looks like. Actually, it might be 3 stars. I see a third something orbiting around that. Let's go ahead and pause this. And what is this? It is a scorched desert. It's because of the planet brightness turned up so much that it is actually orbiting around that. And it's got some really nice fiery clouds. Very cool. I'm going to land on that and just see what this looks like. Oh yeah, you can see the lovely details of the parenting star. Let me go through, I think I have real sun brightness on. Let me turn that off. And that didn't seem to adjust that one very much, but yeah, I normally have that setting off, but I had it on for some reason. I forget why. And yeah, we just have 2 stars orbiting around each other. So, pretty cool system. If we hit F2 and click on one of these stars, which that is a red dwarf, and bring up the menu here. It looks like we have a couple of gas giants, a couple of ice worlds, that scorched desert we were just on, And yeah, it looks like just a binary system. So, very awesome. Right here in the center of an elliptical galaxy. What is this over here in the background? That is really bright. Guess it is a white supergiant. Oh, wow. I can barely see. We got something over here, though. It looks like a black hole. Yep, that is certainly what that is. And we have been consumed by it. Let's move on to the next suggestion. Okay, well, I can hardly read that comment. I don't think you're suggesting me anything, but, man, I think your name's in Cyrillic. I can't read Russian, but, damn, that comment. I ain't gonna put that on the screen, but that comment. Okay, so we have another one from Queen Alexander, which is seeming to be the majority of the suggestions in this video. In fact, actually, I did not really get a lot of suggestions from many other people. It's just people suggesting multiple suggestions. Very interesting. Yeah, it's kind of contrary to what I mentioned earlier, isn't it? Okay, so let's go ahead and visit this one. It's a random star, and it looks like Earth at a first glance at the surface, but the water is actually red. Oh, I was able to paste that one in. Okay, so it's relatively far away in a completely different galaxy. And, I would say no, that does not look like Earth immediately, but what that does... Okay, if I was getting a first impression, if I just zoomed into this world, I see blue land, so that's not very Earth-like. And I'm actually seeing a purple reflection of the water here, which would kind of give up that it would be red. But let's go ahead and zoom in, because the atmosphere is blue, so why would the water be purple? It would have to be mixing in color, wouldn't it? But, watch this ground actually be green. Oh, it is. Okay. So the atmosphere is just very blue. And it looks like we have... It looks like a pine forest mixed with an oak forest of some kind or something like that. Mixed with, like, clover leaves. Okay, that's a very odd mix of just surface texture. I was actually wanting to figure out how to make textures for this game, because I was considering making my own texture pack for it. But, I don't know. It sounds like it'd be a little bit time consuming, but it'd probably be fun to mess around with. And, where is that lovely red water I'm hearing about? This atmosphere is very blue. Oh, am I above the water right now? Oh, okay. It's almost more of like a magenta than a red. Oh, no, that's definitely red. That is definitely some red water. You are not wrong about that. Okay, so... This looks like it would be like swampland, maybe? No, it's a bunch of hills. Kind of some hilly terrain. And I don't know what's up with this, but I've seen this before. The water will have like its own shoreline, and then it'll just kind of cut off, and then you have to actually fly through to actually figure out where the water is actually at, and then... It's like, when am I actually going to get to the water? I think I passed it. Okay, there's the actual shoreline. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that rendering there. It's very weird. Doesn't look like we have much of a cloud layer. Oh, what is that? What is that? Is that a black hole? Oh, no, that must be the parenting star. Oh, wait, no. I still have my magnitude set. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So, pretty cool planet. Yeah, first impressions, definitely looks like a blue world or something. In fact, at first, I was looking at it like this, and I thought it was like an Oceania or something like that. And I was like, oh, no, that's definitely a Terra. Then I saw the blue terrain, and turns out it's actually green, and the atmosphere is just very blue. And, yeah, the water is certainly red. And we have a lot of these weird random hills with just snow covering them. Pretty odd. Question, what graphics are you using in your game? Are you in beta? I'm using the latest version, 9.8.0. It is the one that you'll download if you go to the website. It does mention that it is a beta, but I don't really know any information about that. I assume the whole game's a beta or something. Because this guy's working on, like, turning it into something completely different, but still leaving, like, the free explore mode and all that and whatever. I don't know. A lot of details, something about it being, like, an RPG kind of thing or something like that. Not too sure. Maybe that's the entire point of like the whole ship system. I've played around with the ship system a little bit, but I mean, I couldn't really get the controls down and all that, and I didn't feel like tampering with it too much. But you're asking what my graphic settings are. I did send you a screenshot in the comments yesterday, but I'm going to bring it up right here. Here is my graphic settings. I run anamorphic diffraction spikes, which is like the only thing that's really different from anyone else's graphic settings, to be honest. And yeah, I actually don't keep my settings too high to have the game look like this. But one thing I do is I do adjust a lot of my settings in real time because a lot of my videos I do have to adjust them per video basis because I do a lot of like I really mess around with this engine a lot, and I like to break things. That's always fun. And it looks like we have something with a pretty big comet tail here. Let's check out this little asteroid. Hello, little asteroid. You have a pretty big plume behind you. Okay, so we have a bunch of suggestions coming from Derp Sauce Gaming, and let's go ahead and pay a visit to some of them. Did I set it in ship mode? No, I'm just drifting. Oh, look at that. There's actually a black nebula right here. Here we go. So, pretty cool little dust cloud, pretty much, just chilling out there. And what looks like a star cluster. Yep, an open star cluster. Is there a black hole in the center of this? Doesn't appear to be. Okay, so this one's from Derp Sauce Gaming, and he wants me to visit this temperate Terra. So it's actually kind of cold, temperature-wise, and it is tidally locked with that red dwarf, brown dwarf. That's not even actually a star yet. But it does actually have the star texture, so it might have actually had fusion. It's definitely hot, that's for sure. But we have this temperate Terra over here orbiting rather close to the star. And it is tidally locked, and it has a little asteroid moon, so let's go ahead and check that out. Nice red asteroid moon, very beautiful. Kind of got a little bit of a rendering glitch going on right there. But let's go ahead and pay a visit to this planet. Which I do think my aurora is still a little bit too bright, so let me adjust that. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now the auroras are corrected. And it looks like it's half frozen, and it's kind of a hell world. It's got a nice red to it, as is very common around these brown dwarfs. And if I zoom in, we have a red glowing atmosphere with, you can kind of see the stars. Yeah, you can definitely see the stars from the atmosphere. And you can see the brown dwarf just kind of casting over the horizon there. Very cool. It looks like we have a lot of erosion, possibly from just melting of that storm passing by, like rotating around, possibly raining a lot, and eroding the ice layer that's over here. Maybe some days it's a little bit more active and that storm grows a little bit larger in size, or maybe it just orbits a little bit closer and kind of has a summer heat wave. There's an active volcano here, nice and glowing with a ice cap. Is that an ice cap? Yeah, I think that's an ice cap. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an ice cap. So we got an ice cap on this volcano. Very nice. And the atmosphere is actually pretty low lying. It is not actually too high up in the air. And if I look at the water, it's kind of an opaque black with the reflection of the brown dwarf just casting a red reflection across it. Very interesting planet and very interesting looking storm. I don't actually see a lot of storms that look like this. Typically they are a lot more circular shape, but this one's kind of torn apart. Is this... oh, it might be because this might be above the cloud layer right here. Possibly. That's what's going on. Okay, so we have some terrain that's above the cloud layer because the atmosphere is actually pretty low on this planet. A very cool looking planet. Okay, so here's another hellish looking world from Derp Sauce Gaming, and it has some lovely black rings orbiting around what looks like an orange giant. No, brown dwarf again. So you got some very similar systems going on here that you're suggesting, and yeah, like I said, brown dwarfs, they like to really make planets look red. So let's go ahead and check out this little mountain. Yeah, these mountains over here. And okay, so we have some really cool looking erosion on these mountains. I always love the erosion effect because that really brings out the detail of the hills and makes them look a lot more natural than the normal procedural generated one. Like, this is what I would expect a mountain hill to look like, compared to like some planets where they're just kind of abnormally spiky and stuff. This just looks a lot more natural. Well, I mean, natural in a hell world, but you know what I mean. Like, the hill's general shape just looks a lot better than, like, normal mountains in this game. Which gives us beautiful terrain, such as this. We are below the aurora, but you can't really see it because of the hellish red sky. But if I pan out here, you can see the aurora. We are at the pole. And let's see if we can go to a darker area and actually see this. So, there we go. We kind of have the red there. And the aurora kind of maintains a red color because of the atmosphere. So it's a very similar planet. Probably different composition. And, yeah, we got a beautiful ring structure around it. That is nice and just pitch black. No color to it whatsoever. You can't even see it from within the atmosphere. I can't even see the reflection of it from the atmosphere. Actually, maybe I can a little bit right there. You can see it slightly. But, yeah, very cool. And as you actually get closer to the daytime, it actually shifts from a red to more of a yellow. This one has a much thicker atmosphere than the previous planet, and you can actually see a couple clouds there. Just hanging out. Very awesome, cool suggestion, and I'll move on to your next one. Okay, so it is a cool Terra with life. Okay, so this one's a little bit more inverted of what we were just seeing. This looks like a very cold planet, as it suggests. Very cool Terra, but it's negative 27 degrees Celsius. And this is a very blue world, probably because it's orbiting around a blue main sequence. No, white dwarf. Wait a minute. Okay, so it's actually orbiting around a white dwarf that is casting kind of a blue ray. So let's go over to the... Oh, wait, that's life. I didn't even notice that. So this actually has life, and it's sitting at... Yeah, negative 27 degrees Celsius. So that is a very cold planet. And it actually has terrestrial life. But what I'm seeing here is mostly snow layers, so I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to see the life textures on this planet. No, I'm certainly not seeing them immediately. In fact, this is mostly an ocean world from what I can tell. Okay, so this is kind of what I mean. The procedurally generated hills, such as these, don't actually look all that natural. IMHO. Because, I don't know, they just don't really generate the way you would expect them to. We got a river that kind of cuts off there, so it's just kind of a dip in the terrain. But this looks like I was just messing around with a sandbox editor and just kind of spamming like a hill brush or something like that, and not actually detailing them to look like they have just proper details in them, like water flowing down the hills or erosion or anything like that. It just looks kind of like it's spastically kind of scribbled in a way. But if I look at this, we have a frozen volcano. I think it's actually a bugged out one. Yes, it certainly is. And yeah, I cannot actually find any of the terrestrial life textures. As you can tell, it does have some pretty large poles, which are very elevated from the planet's actual surface here. And that actually results in a very, very cool ocean effect. Check that out. Let's see if we can get the sun there in the background. No, not quite. I feel like if this actually generated a little bit more nicely, rather than just like spiking kind of sporadically, I feel like this would actually make a very cool effect. I wonder if I could actually get a very cool like screenshot of this. Let's see if we can get the star to actually render in properly. Yeah, there it is. But as I go into the atmosphere, the lens flare disappears. This may or may not be an intended feature in the game, but this only happens to me like very rarely, where the sun, like the star flare, just wants to disappear randomly. I don't know what's exactly up with that. But if I pause the game here, get this out of my face, and here we go. Might be able to come up with a really cool looking thumbnail. Very unique one. Got a really nice like polarized cap. And can we actually see the life texture from here? Oh, we certainly can. There's some grass. Almost looks like roots. Like as if I just dug up like a huge plant and there's just a ton of roots there or something. Or like spider webs or something. Pretty cool. And these hills actually do have a nice, as I was mentioning, erosion to them, so yeah, very cool. And I think this will make a very cool looking thumbnail for the video. Wouldn't you guys agree? Space engine up here in the corner, and then like the text at the bottom here. I do like that. Okay, so the next suggestion is from Magna Razvan Nikolai. Nikolai. I can't pronounce that. I'm terrible. I just can't do it. I'm not physically capable. But you were saying that is the smallest star in the universe. And the universe is kind of okay. So the smallest star. That is the smallest star in our galaxy because we can't actually observe stars outside of our own galaxy. But let me just kind of clarify this. We cannot observe stars outside of our galaxy. We just don't have telescopes capable of doing that. But yeah, this is the smallest discovered star that we've seen, which is actually a very difficult thing to classify because there's a fine line between brown dwarf and red dwarf. So there's a lot of brown dwarfs that are large and that we could actually see, and we can't really tell if they are just a very bright gas giant or if they're actually a star and have actually achieved fusion. So there's actually a lot of contenders for this title, but let's go ahead and visit this one. Okay, so the star is actually not loading, so it must not be cataloged in SpaceEngine as of yet. Hopefully it will be soon. But I do have a Wikipedia up for it, and it's saying that it is a red dwarf about 40 light years from Earth, very low mass star, and is actually very faint, so it's a very dim star. But it is casting infrared light, so we are able to see it within that spectrum. It is in the constellation Lepus, and do I have a discovery date over here on the Wikipedia page? It says it was detected in 2004. So, I guess that's the discovery day. Anyways, yeah, we can't, I can't load it in the game. I've tried searching for its constellation. I've tried searching for the star itself, and I've tried finding alternative names, and I cannot actually find it. So, unfortunately, I cannot seem to load it in the game. So, I'm going to move on to the next suggestion, and that would be from Dude600. And he found a thingy. Let's see what this thingy is. Okay, so it looks like we have a quadruple system loaded up. Let's go ahead and pay it a visit. It is not too far out from the Milky Way, a little ways out. Oh yeah, actually no, this is quite a ways out. This is a very bright system. One moment. Okay, so we have a pretty cool looking spiral galaxy. It looks like it has 2 arms on it, and let's go ahead and back out here and click on this galaxy really quick, because this is actually a super bright galaxy. Okay, so it's a standard spiral galaxy, but let's go ahead and load that idea back up again. I thought it might potentially be a quasar, because quasars are typically very bright in the game. Okay, so here we are. It looks like we have, yeah, this is definitely a multi-star system. You can tell by it orbiting around, and it looks like we do have a black hole. Let's go ahead and drop into the black hole real quick. And as you can see, there is a huge star cluster there in the background, and you can see it warping around currently. And let's check out the other stars in the system. We got one called AA, which is a red supergiant. So something like our sun, but has expanded and is relatively old in age, potentially. Look at the age there. 66,000 years. No, that can't be too old. What? Whatever. Let's go ahead and slow down here. And we have 2 stars orbiting around each other. So, do we have any planets in this system at all? No, it does not appear so. It doesn't look like we actually have any planets in the system. It looks like we have 2 smaller stars, a blue main sequence star, something around the size of our sun, and a white main sequence star, something... Okay, so these are relatively larger than our sun, but they're main sequence stars, so they're still going through the main sequence part of their lives. And then we have this luminous supergiant, which could be reaching towards the end of its life. The age does not imply that unless I'm misreading that. And then we have a black hole. So let's go ahead and bring up the orbital map here and see how this is all orbiting. So I assumed, obviously, these 2 are orbiting around each other in a very, very close proximity. And then you have those orbiting around this star. They're actually influencing its orbit quite a bit and actually making it rotate and dance around it. So that just tells you that these are a lot more massive than this highly inflated, highly expanded star here. So, as you can tell, they're kind of dancing around each other, those two systems. And then, somewhere out here, yes, we have the central point of orbit right there of the black hole, which I think is right here. Yes, it certainly is. Orbiting around here while it's influencing this system orbit around like this. So let's go ahead and hit fast forward here. And you can kind of see how they're all orbiting around each other. So it's a really nice little system. This black hole really isn't close enough to kind of influence it and kind of pull like mass from the stars, though, I don't believe. So it's probably going to dissipate over time. This might be a very stable system from what I can tell. Nonetheless, very cool. But we have a star cluster here, and I think this might actually be... Yes, it's actually the central cluster inside the galaxy. So if I hit Control and double tap G, it should bring me straight to... Oh wow, what have I done? Okay, let's back out of here real quick. There we go, the central black hole in the center of this galaxy. So, very cool little system just orbiting around. But yeah, you would actually expect these systems to be quite common inside of clusters, just because if I actually increase the magnitude here of stars, you can see that these are actually a lot more dense with stars than you would actually think on first impression. These are incredibly dense clusters. And there we go, I've crashed my game. But that was my last suggestion for today. So, if you guys liked the video, please leave it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe, it really does help, and I will see you guys in the next episode.